Psyche Truth. Life, wisdom.
Hi, I'm Catherine Elizabeth, and I'm here with my friend Joy. Today we're going to be doing some foot exercises. Now, this is going to be great for anyone who's been told they have fallen arches or any kind of plantar fasciitis, any kind of weakness in the foot that's causing injury. So before we get started, I want you to just stand with your feet together and notice how you're putting your weight on your feet. Now ideally, you want to think of your foot as a tripod. So really, you want to have equal weight on your heel, the ball of your foot under your big toe, and the ball of your foot under your pinky toe. Now a lot of us have a tendency to either roll out or roll in. Let me know if you're one of those people, if maybe your doctor has suggested orthotics for you, or if you feel like you have fallen arches, you don't even have an arch in your foot anymore. This video is for you. It can definitely help, and the more feedback I get from you guys, the better I can, help you out with your needs. So let's get started. So go ahead and just start with your hands on your hips, feet and ankles together. We're just going to start by warming up with some prances. So bring it up to your half toe position on one foot and switch to the other side. Up, other side. There should be a moment where both heels are lifted equally. Should feel sort of a flow here. And when you do this, try to think of keeping your weight over your big toe. Especially when we're on that high toe position, we have a tendency to roll outward towards our pinkies. So really think of bringing that weight in over your first and second toe. You might even feel your ankles graze each other as you do these prances. And just a couple more here. One more per side. And go ahead and relax. Now we're going to take that same idea. Now we're going to do both feet simultaneously. So start up and down. So we're not bending our knees here. We're moving only from the feet. Again, keeping your weight over your big toes. Now we're going to take that same idea, but now we're going to move the feet simultaneously. So we're going to keep our knees straight and just lift from the feet, keeping the weight over the big toe. Go up, hold it for a moment, and come down with just as much control. Now it's okay if coming up is easy and you might, kind of collapse down at first. That's very common, but just see if you can make it equally smooth on the way up and the way down. Again, making a point to keep your ankles together, keeping the weight over the big toe and second toe. And push it a little further each time. See if you can really stretch your arches. Good, couple more here. Last one. Now we're going to incorporate the knees. So we're going to start with the knees bent. Now we lift the heels, but the knees don't straighten. Then we straighten our legs, keeping high on that toe. And just lower the heels here. Bend the knees, lift the heels, push up, straighten the knees, and come back down. Good, let's do 3 more like this. Helps to keep your core nice and strong, helps with the balance. And 1 more. And relax for a second. We're going to do that same thing again, but this time we're going to reverse the order. So this time we go up to our releve, bend the knees, and heels down and straighten. Straight legs here, bend the knees, roll down to the heels, and straighten. Up on the toes, knees, heels, straighten. High toe, knees, ankles together, heels, and straighten. 3 more like this, up on the toes, knees, heels, up, toes, knees, heels, up. Last time, toes, knees, heels, and straighten. Now we're going to take that same idea of bending our knees on our high toe. This time we're going to take it into a little bit of a squat. So this is going to challenge your ankles to stabilize as your center of gravity lowers. So up we go on the high toe. Stay high on the toes. Now bend your knees as low as you can. You can move your hands to the chest, open up the chest if it helps you balance. Just challenge yourself. See how low you can go on that high toe. And bring it back up with control, keeping the knees together. All the way up to the high toe. And relax. Let's do that again. Up to the high toe. Knees together, squeeze the legs as you go down. Belly button towards the spine. And up we go. Stay on the high toe. And relax. So now we're going to take what we've been doing on two legs onto each individual foot. So we're going to start by raising both feet together. Now you're going to shift your weight to the left foot and flex your right. And from here, lower slowly. Now the same thing to the right. We start center, shift your weight to the right foot, flex the left, and slowly down. If this is too much of a challenge right now, you can always just practice feeling the weight shift from one high foot to the other. That'll still wake up your stabilizer muscles. Otherwise, stay with me. 2 feet together, shift your weight to the left, flex the right foot, and lower down. Again, up center, switch your weight to the right foot, flex the left leg, and lower down. Let's do one more per side. Feet up together, switch to the left leg, right foot flexes, lower down slowly. Last time to the right, parallel up, shift your weight to the right, left foot flexes, and lower down. Good job. Now we're just going to wake up our toes a little bit. So go ahead and take a little step out with your right foot, and we're just going to keep our legs straight and use our right foot to push off the floor into a pointed toe position. So what you're really feeling is the push off from your toes. And you can really push as hard as you can, push the floor away. I always like to think of using my feet almost like chimpanzee feet, where it's very, it's almost gripping the floor and then using those finger toes to push it away. Good, and really challenge yourself to go to your full point when you kick off. Good, and go ahead and switch legs. A little step out with the left foot, straight legs, and push back. Grab and push. Feel a nice little stretch along the top of your foot. You might feel like your arches are cramping a little bit. That's okay. It means they're getting stronger. Use that chimpanzee foot to push off the floor to your full point. Good. So now we'll move to the floor. Now these exercises we're about to do are really great if you're a ballet dancer preparing to go on pointe. And if you are a dancer, please subscribe to the channel because I have a dancer's challenge coming up very shortly. So let's get started. Start with your feet stretched out in front of you, sit up tall. We're just going to start with some pointing. So we want to lead actually with our heels, pushing our heels forward, and from here, push into the balls of your feet, and finally point your toes afterwards. Then reverse the motion. Toes go back first, then the balls of your feet, leading with your heels out, and then relax. So again, heels, balls of the feet, toes, back to the balls of the feet, heels, and relax. Once more, heels, balls of the feet, toes, balls of the feet, heels out, and relax. Continue to sit up nice and tall, and we're going to do that in opposition. So you're going to start with the right foot pointed, left foot flexed. We're just getting used to using our feet independently. Just roll through the complete foot. Feel like you're hitting every muscle on the path to pointing. And again, just like with the standing stuff, you want to think of, even though we're not bearing our weight on our feet, still directing most of the force towards those first couple of toes. And just one more each side. And relax. Good. Now we're going to take each foot individually, warm up our ankles a little bit. So bring the right foot in, close to the knee, could just be at the calf. And we're going to roll our ankles to the outside, towards the outside of the ankle. And this is more about the ankle than the foot. In a moment, we're going to do something that concentrates more on the midfoot. But right now, we're just focusing on getting mobility in our ankles. And go ahead and reverse the direction. Try to keep the leg from moving as much as possible. It might be tempted to go out and in with the foot, but try to keep the knee where it is. Good, and go ahead and switch legs. Bring the left foot to the calf or your knee, and go ahead and go out towards the outside of your ankle with the right foot. Trying to keep the knee stable, keeping it from rolling out or in. Ankle stability is something that really helps people, whether they do yoga or running or dancing. It's always good to have a nice, stable base, and that's what your feet and ankles are. And go ahead and reverse the direction. And go ahead and relax. Now we're going back to the left foot. This time, instead of moving our ankles, we're actually thinking about moving our midfoot. So this, especially if you're a dancer and you're trying to get those nice high insteps and high arches, this is really going to focus on that middle section of your foot. So what you're doing a similar circular motion as though you were doing ankle rolls, but this time you're really only going very small and moving from the middle of your foot with flexed toes. So you want to think of it as though your midfoot is pointed, but your toes are flexed. So you should feel that right under the bone at the top of your foot. Really try to keep a straight leg here. And just work really small. It does not have to be much bigger than this. And go ahead and reverse the direction, pressing through the ball of your foot while you stretch the top of your foot. Very good. Go ahead and switch feet. Same idea of pointing the midfoot but keeping the toes flexed. Go ahead and go in first. And if anything starts to cramp, maybe your calf muscle or your arch, feel free to take a breather and stretch out whatever's ailing you and just join back in when you're ready. Pressing through the ball of the foot, working very small, focusing all of your energy on the midfoot. And go ahead and reverse direction. Might see all kinds of veins and things popping out there. That's totally normal. It means your muscles are working. Good, and go ahead and relax from that. Go ahead and stretch out your calf if you need to. The arch of your foot. You'll get a different calf stretch whether if you bend your knee versus if you straighten your knee. Good. Now we're going to focus more on the toe muscles, the very small muscles that control each individual toe. Now this is very important if you're a ballet dancer and you need really good control of your feet, but really, like I said, your feet are your support system for pretty much any activity. You stand on them all day. Any kind of activity benefits from having a nice, strong base. So let's go ahead and do some toe swaps. What we're doing here, we're switching out our big toe with the other 4 toes. So we lift the big toe and then swap them. Lift and swap. And you want to try to keep the ball of your big toe on the floor as much as possible. You might be tempted to kind of peel off the floor, but try to keep them fairly glued to the floor. Now this is something that can be really challenging at first, but I've noticed that a lot of people progress faster than maybe they think they would. The toes seem to learn quickly. And just work as slowly as you need to. And go ahead and rest for a moment. We'll do another set, but feel free to stretch anything out if anything's starting to cramp up. All right, one more set of toe swaps, starting with the big toe up and swap. You can also do these exercises standing for a little bit more of a challenge. All right, just a few more here. And go ahead and relax. So now we're going to move on to an exercise called doming. This is really helpful for people who curl their toes when they point. You really should feel that your whole foot is stretching when you point your foot. If you're doing something like this, doming can really help you elongate those toes. So the idea here is that you're pulling the balls of your feet towards your heels, but keeping your toes on the floor. So you're just trying to maximize your arch just by squeezing it in, as so. And this can be really challenging at first. You might immediately feel your arches cramp up. That's totally normal. Just see how many times you can do it slowly. And if that's easy, hold it in that domed position. So you're maximizing your arch, you're decreasing the space between the balls of your feet and your heels. You might feel a little contraction in your calves too. So you can hold it here and release. Contract, and you notice that my toes are pretty much straight, they're not curling in. Contract and release. So just so you can see this a little better, I'm pulling the balls of my feet towards my heel and relaxing. My foot's getting shorter, but it's getting taller. My toes, trying to keep my toes as straight as possible. Good, and now that we've discovered that pleasant sensation, we're going to move on to pianos, called piano players, because we're going to be using our toes like a pianist might use his or her fingers. So we're just going to try to roll through, and sometimes this takes me a little while to warm up to. We're trying to individually glide our toes. So actually doing the visual with the hands can help you. So start with the pinky toe and roll in. And see if going the opposite direction is easier or harder. So starting with the big toe down. Oh yeah. A little harder. So you still want to keep your arches high and your foot in a neutral position. Try not to roll out into either direction. Yeah. So you can do several sets of these, and sometimes you'll see an improvement in the same day just after a few sets once your toes are sort of warmed up a little bit. Let's go once more the easier way, starting with the pinky toe. Good. All right, so now our final challenge for today, we're going to take that doming exercise we did, but this time we're going to use a towel to add some resistance. So you're going to place your towel under your feet, under your toes, and the more towel there is, the more of a challenge it's going to be, because you're going to gather that towel towards you using your toes. So we're just going to scrunch this time. You're allowed to bend your toes, unlike the first doming exercise, but we're using the arches of our feet to pull the towel towards us. See if you can really gather it all the way in until it's a very small little towel. And you can repeat that as many times as you like. I'm going to do it once more for today. Scrunch, scrunch. Once you get the hang of this, you can try this standing, and you can try it with one foot at a time. There's all kinds of things you can do to sort of facilitate your feet getting stronger. You can try picking up marbles, picking up pencils with your feet. Anything you can do with your hands, really, you could try to do with your feet. All right. So be sure to like this video so you can come back to it and continue to do it. And make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can join me for my 10-day Dancers Challenge. But in the meantime, have a great day. Leave me a comment, tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys soon.